My brothers and sisters, good morning. Today is the feast of Corpus Christi, the feast of the body and blood of Christ. But it's also a day in which we celebrate the feast while we're in social quarantine. Now, people phone the rectory all the time saying, "Are we having Mass this Sunday?" And when we say no, they say, "Well, we understand, but we so miss Eucharist, we so miss the community." In the last church I pastored in Houston, the pastor decided to celebrate Mass with the community, following all the protocols that were laid out. Unfortunately, one of the families who came had the virus, and so the pastor had to go get tested, and they're trying to reach everybody who attended the Mass to go get tested as well. So what message might God be sending us in this time of quarantining? I'd like to tell you a story. When I was about 6 years of age, I had an argument with my mom, and I went storming out of the house, and I sat at the garden gate. Now my sister and my brothers eventually came home, and each one asked me what was wrong because they could see I was in a funk. But I wouldn't answer any of them. And my dad came home, asked me what was wrong. Wouldn't answer him. So he went into the house, probably saying, "I'll ask Lena what's wrong with Brendan." I stayed at that gate until it was supper time. Then my sister Noreen came out, and she said, "Brandon, it's time to come in for supper." I ignored her. Then my brother Tom, I ignored him. Then my dad came out. I ignored him. And while I was sitting there angry, I was also realizing that with the stubbornness of mine, I wasn't going to get anything to eat. And I was getting extremely hungry. Then my brother Eamon came out, and he real roughly said, "Get in there and eat your supper." And so I went in with him, not because he shouted, but because I was hungry. And when I went in and took my seat at the table, my mom, without a word, placed my plate of food in front of me, and we had our family meal. When the meal was over, my funk was gone, and there was no more talk about it. It's as if it never happened. Now I realized that my mom, who didn't come out to try to bring me in, was looking out the window at our little son in his funk at the garden gate. And she was the one sending the others out to coax him in for his supper. He even sent my dad. Now, the thing I remember most about that incident was that nobody started their supper, until I was sitting at the table. Corpus Christi. Now, I realize that we're all hoping that this coronavirus will go away, that we can come back to being church. I'm aware that people feel deprived of Eucharist during these months of quarantining. And yet our church can deprive people of communion for all sorts of reasons, strong in the belief that God's in agreement with the rules we make. I hope that when this coronavirus is gone and we return to church, that we will come back with a compassionate heart that makes everyone present feel loved and welcomed at the table of Christ. God bless you all.